How good do we think this Cavaliers team can be? Obviously, Donovan Mitchell just went absolutely insane last night, scoring 71 points. Absolutely incredible stuff. But quite obviously, he's not going to be able to do that every single night. The Cavs currently are sitting at 24 and 14, fourth place in the Eastern Conference. I thought they were a sleeper team to come out of the East at the beginning of this year. I didn't expect them to be this good this early on. You've got Donovan Mitchell, who's playing at an all-star level performance night in and night out, trying to make a case for the best two guard in the league. He's averaging 29.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, 4.8 assists. Donovan Mitchell is the lead guy the Cavs were looking for these last couple of years. Now, the pieces around him, I think, are going to be the question of how good they can be and how far this team's going to go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back for another episode here of our X Factor Standouts series here on the X Factor Sports Talk Nation. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell your family for daily NBA coverage, for hot topics like this, and for fun videos along the way. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming out soon. This Cavs team, like I said, has impressed me up to this point. I think going into the season, I predicted them to finish like 5th or 6th. I just thought there was going to be too many questions, bringing in Donovan Mitchell and how everybody was going to play together. But it seems like early on, everything's gelled pretty well. All these guys are willing to buy into Donovan Mitchell being the lead guy, and he's willing to buy into leading them there. Donovan Mitchell's an undersized two guard, but has the capability to lock in defensively and be an elite defender. That's what he was known for in college. We've seen spurts of that throughout his NBA career. And he's obviously shown that he can be an elite scorer. Putting up 71 last night, absolutely insane stuff. But night in and night out throughout his career, I think he's shown to be a reliable one option for a good NBA team. The question always for me is, how can he be the number one guy on an NBA championship team? Now, with the pieces around him, like I said, a guy like Darius Garland, who's the starting point guard out in Cleveland, averaging 21.3 points, 2.6 rebounds, 7.8 assists. I really love Darius Garland's game. He's another guy who's capable of going off for big nights scoring wise, but also can sit back and facilitate and set guys up. And isn't afraid to sit back and, try to get everybody else around him going before he ever considers going after it. And that's what I really like about Darius Garland. Really like these two as a backcourt. They seem to get along really, really well. They gel really well as well on the offense and defensive end. Jared Allen has been a dominant presence down low for this team for the last couple years now. He's averaging 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. An all-star last year. I've really enjoyed Jared Allen. He's another guy that just buys into his role. And it seems to be what the theme is here in Cleveland, is a lot of guys that are just going to buy into their role and let Donovan Mitchell, try to lead them there. And the last guy I'll mention for his stats-wise is Evan Mobley. He's averaging 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks. I think long-term, Evan Mobley will be the X factor for this Cavs organization. As long as he's there and he's happy, they're in good hands. I really love the idea of him and Darius Garland and even Donovan Mitchell together for the next 5 to 10 years, just playing phenomenal basketball together, growing and getting each other better throughout the process. I think those 4 guys that I just named, if that's your core group, the more they get better and the longer they play together and the more comfortable they get with one another, it's going to only result in better and better things. And I do think that it's not that's not out of the realm of possibility that this core brings home a championship in Cleveland. But outside of those 4, Cavaliers have a lot of solid pieces around them. Kevin Love has shown to also buy in and be a very solid veteran piece for this team. I really love what I've seen out of Kevin Love. Dean Wade is a guy that they really love. They throw him out there. He's kind of like a 3-and-D kind of guy. Not ideal, but they really love Dean Wade out in Cleveland. Karis LeVert is a streaky shooter who can play the 3 alongside these guys, or come off the bench and be a shoot first kind of guy. So I'm interested to see what they do with Karis LeVert throughout this season and going on future, with as long as they keep Karis LeVert. Can he come off the bench? Is he willing to come off the bench and be a dominant scorer for you when it's needed? Veteran presence like Ricky Rubio, who hasn't played up to this point, he's dealt with injuries, but when he comes back, he's going to help this team a whole lot on their second unit. Seti Osman, who is a nice 3-and-D player as well. He has moments with this team, and they seem to really love him. Robin Lopez, another veteran presence who isn't going to go out and do a whole lot, but when he's out there, he's going to provide you some solid minutes. And also another guy that's just going to buy into a role and be okay with whatever, you're calling him for that night. Raul Neto is another veteran guy that I like off their bench coming in. He can be your second unit point guard or be a third guy, play alongside Ricky Rubio, play alongside Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So I like him as a piece, kind of like a 7th, 8th, maybe 9th man off the bench. And Lamar Stevens is another guy that I'm not very familiar with. Lamar Stevens' game. Every time I turn a Cavs game on, it seems like he's not playing that night. But another guy that they seem to really enjoy out in Cleveland, and they give him a lot of minutes here and there as well. But the guy that I haven't mentioned for this team that I think is going to be the X factor for this team is Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro, in his 3rd year out of Auburn, was known as a defensive kind of guy. Offensively, there's a lot of questions with how well he was going to play. And up to this point, offensively, we've seen those questions come true. He's averaging 5 points, 0.8 assists, and 2.3 rebounds. Really a quiet year. I think those are all career lows for him up to this point. I think it was definitely going to be the case because with Donovan Mitchell coming in, how was he going to adapt? How much time was he going to get? Especially with a guy that struggles offensively, how was he going to be able to contribute? Because if you've got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland trying to facilitate and move the ball around, teams are going to be able to sag off of him, and he's not going to be able to knock down open shots. But the reason I gave Isaac Okoro the X factor for this team is one of 2 reasons. I think if he buys in and really develops a jump shot, he will be so key for this team. Isaac Okoro is 6'5", like 215. Perfect NBA build, and in this day's NBA, to be a 3-and-D kind of guy, to be able to lock up multiple positions and to be able to spread the floor if he develops a consistent jump shot. Now, the thing is for me here, why I also gave him the X factor is they could trade Isaac Okoro and go get a better 3-and-D guy. The beginning of the season, Troy made his claim that if the Cavaliers go and get Jay Crowder, they will be in the NBA Finals. I don't know if I would be willing to stretch that far for a guy like Jay Crowder, but I understand the point he was making there is that this team needs a 3-and-D guy, a consistent one, who's going to be out there consistently for you, knock down shots consistently, and be able to defend multiple positions. Isaac Okoro can be a key factor in a trade package to go get a guy like a Jay Crowder, to go get a guy like OG Anunoby. I know a lot of teams, apparently, I think the Raptors are listening to trade talks. So if you could target a guy like that could come in here for you and change the future of your team immediately, like an OG Anunoby, Isaac Okoro, I would be willing to give him up. And that's why I think ultimately he is the X factor, because I do have faith that he could develop his game and go out there and be consistent on the offense and defensive end. I think it's taken a lot longer than people probably want. And especially now in his 3rd year, you'd want to really see results now. And I think that's a little upsetting. But if you have faith in Isaac Okoro, buy into him and get him out there, let him run, let him get used to the starting 5, playing alongside of them, and see how it looks. But if ultimately as well you want to be in win now mode, go try to go after a guy like Jay Crowder, like OG Anunoby, somebody like that can come into your team and play alongside Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and affect the game in a winning way for you from day one. So ultimately, I do think that the key to Cleveland's success is on Isaac Okoro. You either get developed now or you're traded to bring in a better piece. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you agree that Isaac Okoro is this team's X factor, what you've seen out of the Cavaliers up to this point, and if I missed somebody who you think is their X factor. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We got a lot of stuff coming out your way, so be sure to stay tuned in. We appreciate you guys.